Hello and welcome to the Little Historians Magazine TV. Today we're going to be talking about great thinkers and how their ideas changed the world. Obviously we can't talk about everyone, so have a think about who you think a great thinker is and why their ideas changed the world.
We'll start with some of the first ever thinkers in history, but they're actually called philosophers, and they studied the world and created ideas that they thought helped to explain things like the meaning of life. But that's a very big question to start the video on. There's three main philosophers in ancient Greece that we'd be silly not to tell you about for this video. The first is Socrates. He had his own school and he taught his students to question life. He asked, how does society work? What's good? What's evil? And one of his students was Plato, and it's Plato that wrote down all these ideas, so it's thanks to him that we know about them. Plato then had his own school and ideas as well. He believed that no one should be too rich and have too much luxury, and that you should work a job you were suited to. And he liked to discuss justice as well. And one of his students was Aristotle. And Aristotle focused more on practical things, like the science behind the ideas, and he liked to find reason rather than just asking questions.
Leonardo da Vinci is probably someone who could have featured in every single section of this Innovators magazine and in every video. He created things, he made crazy scientific discoveries, he was also a painter, and he even invented something that was a bit like a helicopter. He did lots for science. He drew the Vitruvian Man in 1490, which helped give us a proper idea of human proportions. Leonardo da Vinci emphasised the importance of knowledge and facts, and he helped us change the way we think, which is why we've put him in our thinkers section, because we think he's really important.
The world of literature is also in this video because they were innovative thinkers too, creating their own genres. Like Mary Shelley in 1818, who published Frankenstein, which was the first science fiction novel, or Lady Mary Roth in 1621, who wrote a novel called Urania, and it was the first romance novel, or Horace Walpole in 1765, who wrote the first Gothic horror novel. Now all these people wrote stories that showed new genres and ideas, but Charles Dickens was really important for writing in a new way. He showed the lives of the poor people in Victorian London that people hadn't really heard about before. He made people aware of the social issues and the struggles of the poorer people.
Mary Wollstonecraft was a writer who wrote about women's rights, and in 1792 she published The Vindication of Women's Rights, which argued that women should be equal to men. So she's basically the original feminist.
Then we have people like Millicent Fawcett, who led the suffrage movement that helped fight for the rights of women, or someone like Emmeline Pankhurst, who later led the Suffragette Party.
Elizabeth Fry was a social and prison reformer who fought to have prisoners treated better, a totally new idea at the time. She made sure that the 1823 Jails Act separated men and women in prison and had women guarding women's prisons. Queen Victoria even supported her ideas.
Charles Booth and Benjamin Rowntree also believed in social reform like Elizabeth Fry. They researched poverty and realised that illness and unemployment led to it, and they led social reform to push the government to help people because people needed support to get out of poverty, whereas before they'd just been left to it.
William Wilberforce was the leader of the movement to abolish slavery in England. It took 20 years of him persuading Parliament to abolish slavery, and in 1807 the Slave Trade Act was passed to start to end slavery, but it wasn't until 1833 that slavery was actually abolished. And William Wilberforce died just 3 days after, but at least he got to see it happen.
Thanks for watching. We hope it's got you thinking about some new ideas for the world. And if you'd like to hear more about innovators from history, then make sure to get your copy of the Little Historians magazine from our website. Bye!